Was popular YouTube, another day, another demo. And today we've got a very tragic, horrific, terrible, awful, painful, seething demo to watch. Okay, it is Nip versus Astralis for the very first time since Device has joined their roster. Okay, so for those of you who may be living under a rock with Patrick Starr, Device, he left Astralis. Lucky joined Astralis in his place as the Opper, and Device joined NIP and got knock benched on the team. Because, of course, if Device is coming, someone's going to go onto the bench. Someone's going to Sudoku themselves, you know what I'm saying? So Device is on NIP, but since around May, or whatever it is that he joined, May, June, they have not played against Astralis a single time. So a lot of people were very excited because today was the day of the match. There was a lot of hype. I mean, I can just go to my own Twitter to show you how much I was just tweeting about this because of how excited I was. And man, was it brutal. This is when they got their first round. This, I think, when they were down 0-7. You know, everyone was bracing themselves. Is this going to be a hot match? Who will win? That was the question. And obviously, we got NIP standing leagues above Astralis in the 16-1. I don't know what happened to Astralis watching this game. They looked awful. They looked horrible. They were like pushing through smokes randomly. Easiest op shots of Device's life. Hampus completely farmed them. I mean, there was just nothing. There was nothing they could do, but there was also, it didn't feel like they were even trying. It was very strange. I don't know if you guys got that vibe when you were watching as well. And this is only horrific not because NIP won and Device was able to beat Astralis here, but because it was 16-1 and the only round that they won, that Astralis won, was with Lucky winning a 1v2. The only round. So this could have been an actual 16-0. Like, no kidding. It really could have been. It's just crazy to think about. I don't know, like, psychologically what's going on here. But this team on the bottom got destroyed. The Swedish Dinosaur won today. Okay, before we hop in to the game, want to talk pick'ems for a second. So pick'ems are looking terrifying for this stage because it's just we don't have much room now that Entropic are playing very well. They're playing a 2-0 match after beating Liquid and Gambit of all teams, and then Copenhagen Flames 16-2 DG and lost their first match to G2, which fucked up the 3-0 pick of Copenhagen Flames. Now, G2 are playing their 3-0 match. Honestly, I felt like Copenhagen Flames were playing quite well in that game, and then Nico had a couple of crazy rounds, and then they got back into it. And G2 looked good, so it looks like they were the team to pick for 3-0, but you know, based on recent form, I felt like maybe this is the time not to do it. No, coming into Cologne, they did the same thing, but they were looking better before Cologne, so yeah, it's a hard one to call. But now that the field, I mean, I don't know, Entropic not falling off, Copenhagen Flames not falling off, Gambit showing signs of weakness. Liquid might be one of the weaker teams that we already knew that, but now Vitality's playing an 0-2 match. You know, luckily 0-3 might be quite clear, so that might be locked in. But some of these other games, man, I mean, I don't have Mauser Ents in mind, so I feel okay about that. There will be an elimination between those two tomorrow. But dude, this is an insanely hard pick'em now. I mean, you only need 5 in total. Remember that. It's kind of wild how some of the teams that nobody expected to get to this stage, that should have basically got cleaned once they got here, are now also maybe some still the scariest teams here. I do the predictions every day. This time I just don't know. Like, I'm picking Entropic to win over G2 in their decider match, a best of 3. That's I don't know what to say. I watched Entropic play. They looked astounding. They looked incredible. It's quite like Copenhagen Flames, and they won both their matches. G2 are getting better and better, and it's just like, if Nico's in his top 3 form and G2 are a good enough team, they're supposed to beat Entropic every time. But so were Gambit, you know what I mean? So was Heroic in the best of 3 versus Entropic. So even this Navi versus Nip game, I feel like, man, you know, there could be a 3-0 here for either team. NIP just completely dumpstered Astralis after Astralis showed some of the best CS they've shown versus Spirit earlier on. You know, Liquid Furia, that's even close because, I mean, they play each other so much, right? So this is domestic rivalry right here. Both teams were peak back in 2020. They're playing each other all the time in finals. So I think Liquid generally have an edge, but still, you know, it's the major, there's pressure. and everyone's going to be trying their damnedest, and they know each other, so that could be close. And then you have Gambit, who have shown weakness versus Entropic and Virtus Pro, who looked bad today, but you just can't really bet against Virtus Pro. You can't really bet against Virtus Pro. You never know when they're going to play well. And then down here is, you know, one of the worst logos in the whole world, really, in any industry, if any. I'm just kidding. These guys are, you know, I think Ents probably survived this, but this is already crazy. Like, these are your two O2 teams. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn. So, and then Vitality playing EG. They're going to survive, and then who they play next? I mean, the playoffs, no matter what, are going to be insane. Even if Entropic get through and Copenhagen Flames get through, they deserved it. They are looking sick, but wow, not an easy major whatsoever. It's going to be a banger. We'll see what happens. Those are my Preds for tomorrow, and I'll keep posting them as I go. But this is the least confident I've been since the major started in my predictions because of how many close games they're going to beat. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. I tweet 30 times a day or something absolutely ridiculous. So I'm just tweeting all the time. It's just something I truly love. I just love just shit posting on Twitter. It's my favorite thing. Here we are to watch Device. Device is on 1280 by 960, the God Res, but he's on black bars actually. We'll be watching on stretch just for the sake of the video, but black bars, just so you're aware, a zoom sense of 1.10, which means that it's going to be just slightly higher than 2 at 400 for his sensitivity. So let's get into the match. Okay, so here we are to watch Device versus Astralis. Such a cursed thing to even say. Like, it's so uncomfortable for to even say. Device played with Astralis. Together, they were able to put together 4 majors. They, Device, Dupree, Zipix, Glaive, Magisk, a legendary roster. Kirby won their first major with all the rest of the other 4 players. And then when Magisk came in, they just continued on to crush everybody. I think it's very clear that you don't get the best team to ever play the game without, having a superstar player like Device and also having the greatest IGL of all time like Glaive, and then just great pieces all around them that are basically undeniable as well. And so, yeah, it was a very startling event. Number one, to have a non-Swedish player play on NIP, that's one thing, even though they've had a stand-in or two in the past that have been from other places, but also to have specifically Device come on the team. And yeah, to see Device playing against Astralis. I mean, this was Zonic went on Instagram, said as banter, nothing but love for Device, but I hope he fucking loses his match later. And we're playing NIP. So, made it clear. I mean, this is that when Glaive said when he gets in the server versus Device for the first time, he wants to win, and he knows that Device wants to win as well, right? Of course, they both want to prove something. And I think, in my opinion, it's very head-to-head between Glaive and Device, even though it's not about them being friends. I don't have any questions about whether or not they're friends. They're professionals. They have so many memories together. They, things ended, but they did everything already. I mean, if they're not friends, it's got to be for something extremely serious. But I'm fairly certain that they're still friends. But what I think is kind of special between the two of them is, for me, I mean, there's no one that can stand to Device in terms of accolades overall, right? Like, he's been consistently carrying his teams for the past 5 and 6 years. Top 3 player in the world, super consistent. Kind of always the bridesmaid, never the bride, or always the groomsman, never the groom, I guess, for a Device. Not that it matters, but he's never been that number 1 spot. I think when Simple in 2018 had his peak year, Device was very close to him, and I think I even personally put Device like right at Simple's level or maybe above. But looking back and then seeing this consistency that Simple carry on with, I feel like it kind of reinforced the idea that that Simple really should have been number 1 by most metrics. But I was really kind of like loving the Astralis like era and Device at the helm of it and seeing how he played. And I was pretty convinced that people were, every time they'd see a wider flick, they were more convinced that the player who's flicking wider was better. Whereas I was kind of like, okay, you could see Device. He's got some of the best positioning, super calm, really great nades, super solid rotations. But, and Simple's always had to do a little bit more than him. So, for that reason, I think it makes sense that Simple is the player to get number one. He has to work a little bit harder. He does, and he does more, and he gets more, and everything like that. And Device does what he needs to, but better than basically everybody else. Fits more into the system, but not in a disparaging way where you say someone relies on the system. And I think that that's a good segue into this conversation where Device is not only, moving to Sweden for reasons, but also wants to be able to show that he can perform outside of the system, which is the number one criticism for him. I personally compared it to the, Tom Brady move to the Buccaneers. And I think Maui tried to say that the Bucs, it's a little bit of a weirder situation because the Bucs are a better team than basically the NIP are. But right now, NIP are looking very solid. Hampus is fragging, Rez is a solid member, and that's a solid core right there. And then they have LNZ and Plopsky, who are doing what they need to do. And in this match, we saw a really great use of grenades from NIP. They were abusing the new meta with the droppable grenades outside of B. They were making sure to make every single rotation super clean. I was seeing a lot of confidence. I really thought that it was going to come down to pressure in this match, and I thought Lucky's going to crumble under the pressure of like Nikolai Nyholm went on Twitter and said, if you kill Device, I'll give money to charity, and if you get kills, I'll give more money to charity or something like that. So I thought that was just a little bit extra pressure where maybe there didn't need to be any, and then there was also the idea that, okay, Device has a lot to prove, but his teammates don't necessarily have to prove it on his behalf. So are they going to feel the pressure of Device, working really hard to win? But honestly, what did we see? We saw all of them stand up to the test completely and really deliver, right? All of the players on NIP put up super strong stat lines. I was also actually most impressed, I think, with LNZ, even though Hampus was way at the top, just by how he was playing some of his angles. So they weren't scared of the fact they were going up against Astralis. So, yeah. Now I want to talk about this match in terms of analysis, but I think I really want to focus on just the number of narratives right here because it's such an interesting one for that reason. And it's also kind of hilarious that this match ended up being a 16-1 and could have literally been a 16-0. I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's not something I can really wrap my head around. I still don't even understand what happened. It just all happened so fast. Terrible scenes for Denmark. You know what I mean? Terrible scenes for Denmark, but at the same time, wonderful scenes for Denmark. I mean, look at Device. He's if he ends up going into the stadium, he's going to be surrounded by Swedes, and they're gonna cheer him on as the Dane that went over to Sweden and got eaten by the Swedish dinosaur and now is representing Sweden and also Denmark at the major. He's got his cake and he's eating it too, whatever the hell that means. Never really understood what that one meant, but he does. Graveyard, very strong position whenever you're thinking. He's holding right here because you can dodge flashes, and also you can see when people jump out of halls, especially if they decide to walk out. So you got a very tight setup inside of the site to watch arch, to watch lane, and they're letting them in. And there's 15 seconds up. It's a very comfy spot now for NIP where you can kind of take your peek at any time. Device will toss flash. He'll peek up. It's a good flash. One in the halls. Does he die here? It looks like Glaive will get that kill. 3-0, Device's first death, and it's going to be Glaive. There were actually a couple of tech pauses, about 40% of the game was tech pauses, actually. They still ended up not losing focus whatsoever and pulled off the 16-1. But yes, a couple of unlucky situations here where they had to figure out what was wrong, and we're going to fast forward through all of it. There's also a wonderful picture from Maku on Twitter that is a photo of Device walking by, and he's blurred out in the front, and the focus is on Zonic, Lucky, and Glaive all looking at Device. And I think that in that moment, it was just kind of the 1,000-yard stare of they're playing a match and then they're looking off into the distance. But it made it kind of look like they were trying to burn holes in the back of Device's head, and it made for a cool effect. But I think people are really reading into it too much. Why they look so mad and stuff. I'm sure he basically just got caught in a moment where they were thinking about something and looking in a direction and just had a resting bitch face, right? So, okay. Still don't know why apparently this disco op I heard happens because of the crosshair bug. Apparently it's tied to the crosshair bug, and Valve haven't managed to figure out what the reason is for the crosshair bug. So we are left with the disco op for the meantime. There we go. We can go no HUD, okay, until it's gone. How about that? I also maybe could HUD reload it, and then we can go from there. It was such a weird game where, okay, we're going to have Arch Smoke come down. It's just the pressure was not there from Astralis. There was nothing special going on. Here, Device is doing a boost over Arch, which is a common thing to do. So where Device is standing up, some people are throwing a deeper Arch Smoke, okay, that lands right in front of where they're looking right now, so that you can't boost over, because that Arch boost has become so useful. It seems like such a silly boost, like anyone would clear it, but if you pick a right timing, it's just been so effective at getting a kill inside of mid. And I'm just going to take a look at that op. No, it's still going crazy. We're going to put you away and wait till Device dies. I don't care. I think this is the moment where it looks like, okay, the bomb might get planted, but the retake is beautiful and everybody gets their kills. And look, Plopsky's even Opsky, okay? What can't this man do? Still going crazy with it. Let's see if he takes the mid pick, jumping across. He's going to see the pistol and immediately comes back for the peek, opping towards the bench. This is where a player might crouch peek into you, right? This is what you're hoping if you're a Device. And if they do, you're supposed to be favored. Oh, okay. Okay. Dupree killing Device in an official match. Never thought I'd see the day. 7-0. I mean, there's just no holes in the game. You can see for Device, absolutely no issues for him playing all his normal spots, taking all his peaks. One of the easier matches. I mean, something went on psychologically this game that I just cannot put my finger on. If you watched it, you would know. But this has got to look like one of the easiest pro CS games that I've ever watched on this channel, which is so ridiculous. But of course, we're going to see some nice shots too. Let's see what the protocols here for Device as he opts towards lane. And of course, we talk about natural adjustments on the CT side of overpass. Taking over mid from lane with your op is very powerful. Clearing out boiler, clearing out mid in this way, and getting the info back. And this is a super important clear to do when you're an opper. And you'll notice that teams way up into very high levels don't do this. So what's both important is that number one, you eventually find a timing where you can clear lane with your op, and then number two, you rotate, okay? Mouse Sports were playing Inferno earlier today, and they were not doing this. So maybe I'll do a demo on that, where they were either had full mid info and didn't rotate. Look at that shot. Or they didn't have mid info and didn't go get it and didn't rotate. So a lot of the times, Mouse Sports, the reason they're in their O2 match right now is because of their Inferno play, in my opinion. And they kept leaving Frozen and Dexter inside the B site to fight. No one was rotating to help them. And one of the most important parts about defending B is not having three people inside of B if it's going to be a B hit, but having someone inside of CT spawn so they can throw a flash over the roof of quad to help your B defenders fight. That's all. That flash is so key for defending the site. It's incredibly hard to dodge. It blinds everybody crossing pool, and you can peek with it because it lands on the roof above you. And the only person who can throw it is a guy in CT spawn. So you want to watch a demo about how not to do it, go watch the Mouse Sports demo, their most recent on Inferno. Frozen does one hell of a job sometimes defending on B, but that's not enough. That's not enough. So here, oh, that was a blind shot. Wow, okay. I remember when I watched this on the stream, I was looking at it and I was like, man, they didn't wait for their molly to spread and they didn't flash Device off. They gave him a free kill, but he actually hit that completely blind. Because that's the kind of player he is, of course. All chill so far, and this is where the conversation starts. Hey guys, 60-0? 60-0? Could we do it? That's what everybody wants to know. Oh wow, are they able to just pick skin, like whatever skin they want at this point? Are they going to leave an op and spawn? Is it going to be like that? Are we just getting rid of ops now? We've just got too many ops. We just got binders full of ops. Apparently, we've got to get rid of ops. All right, we expecting a mid pop or what? There's a high flash here to swing mid, and now they seem to be a little bit worried about it. Yeah. Oh, interesting smoke. It comes in on the site. Oh, oh, I like that smoke. So maybe for a late rotation into the site, he throws a smoke that bounces off the scooter, and then you can see over halls. I didn't notice he threw it. Pretty solid for him. And of course, always there's the question, you know. Wow. Okay. Nice shot. Very nicely done. If you'd like to support my CSGO content, please support my one and only sponsor, DJ Esports. They allow me to upload way more. Sign up on DJ Esports IO to immediately participate in the World Prediction Series. Join the DJ Esports Discord for more information and an 800 DJT bonus upon contacting DJ Modmail. People who sign up can also get 400 each week for sharing DJ posters on social media. Also, deposit bonus for World Stage 2. Use promo code DJEX50 for a 50% deposit bonus up to 200 USDT. Thanks for listening and enjoy the video. And now, I mean, at this point, I've heard you guys in Denmark, I've heard S-Tag say, you're trying not to get egged, right? This is the only goal at this point. You just don't want to get egged. Get a single round, don't get egged. He's seen some very close attempts in the clutch here from Lucky, though. Just want to point that out. He's honestly, in the 5v5 and stuff, he's got some work to do, but he's kind of nice. He's kind of nice in those oh my god. Dude, that's like the only way his device is even dying. He must be so proud of his teammates. Zipix, Zipix, Zipix. You sneaky bastard. That's what he must have been saying. Amazing. You're amazing. Come to NIP. No, that's not going to happen. Zipix is signed to Astralis till 2025. And I think Zipix is a player who, obviously, he's worth his weight in gold on land and everything like that. But I think he is a little bit harder to find a team for if it's not going to be Astralis. Not that he's old or anything like that, and obviously a legendary player, but he did take a break. It wasn't very clear, in my opinion, if he was like super motivated to keep on going after, you know, winning everything and all this stuff. And yes, he did end up signing, but hey, I mean, they get paid very handsomely to do this job, so you may or may not be incredibly committed to your job and still want to, you know, still do it. Not to accuse anybody of taking a paycheck, but that's just to say it wouldn't even be wrong. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. If you're going to be a player, you don't get that much. You don't like. You can be a player once, and then when you're done being a player, you're never going to be a player again. You can go do something else in your 30s and your 40s and all that stuff, but for the time that you can be a player, you should do that, because you're not going to get that time back. It's probably going to be the most fun part of your career. And even though there's some stress, you know, you put it all out there, you achieve some stuff, you do some cool things, you travel the world, and then you can go do whatever you want. Maybe you made enough money, you don't have to do anything else after. That's the dream. But yeah, for the meantime, can you blame someone for taking a contract? Even if, and again, not to say that this is Zipix, but anybody, if they're going to take contract to live the job of being a pro player, even if it's got its plights, right? Even if there's some drawbacks, even if there's a lot of stress and a lot of travel and stuff, to do it for a few years and then be able to do whatever the hell you wanted to and had a hell of a time doing it. I mean, come on. Come on. Can you blame anyone for taking the deal? Absolutely not. It's not Squid Game, guys. It's not rocket science. At this point, I mean, Astralis were literally walking through smokes. I mean, you can just feel, you can hear the birds on Inferno. It's bad. There's just no pressure whatsoever on the map. Nothing for NIP to be scared of at all. They just weren't working things. And it blows me away because I know that all of the Astralis guys are, of course, incredibly competitive and everything. So why is it? Why is it that they just went missing for this match? I don't know. And here's like, oh man, there was someone here sitting on top of coffins. They're trying to do some damage. And they've got a good amount of control. The retake's coming in. Let's see what this flash does. Throws it directly up. They clear high right. Lucky's alive, but now he's dead. And then the fuse comes in. 11-0 to 12-0. And it's like, oh, man. We call a pause. We need to talk about this, guys, because it's not going too well. And, yeah. Just pure Spain. I don't know What's good? Wow, nice shot. Really sick shot here from Device. You know he deathmatched just a couple minutes extra to play against his boys on Astralis, right? You know that. I really want to know if Astralis are going to be able to make it at this point in the major. Of course, if you just watch this game, you're going to think they were terrible, but apart from this game, everything seemed like it was cooking, like it was fine. They were getting better and better, but now it's like, what the hell? It's like no, it's not. Maybe it's not so fine. Maybe it's dog with the hoodie. You know what I mean? Lucky 1-on-2 situation in the site once again in the clutch. Gonna give it his best try. You can see Device and LNZ are opting not to play together, but Device has an op that can cover these angles to clear things out slowly. I might not be clear on what he has, and Lucky in the back of the site. Actually, he has an M4, and Device flashes for him, but the flash doesn't do anything, actually. So Lucky was on top of this box right here, and then he blasts Device away to give Astralis their only round. This is the only reason they didn't get 16-0, because of Lucky's clutch. So, Lucky or godlike? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying, guys? Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. You already know. It's your boy, Launders. Oh, man, I almost fast-forwarded through this. They get mauled like Leonardo by a bear in the woods in the cold, in the Danish weather when it's raining a little bit. There are bicycles everywhere. People are eating those weird hot dogs where you put them in the top and the mustard goes down to the bottom and it just all pools in the bottom, and it's just such a stupid idea for a hot dog. Why would anybody eat that? It's not even, it's one of the worst types of hot dogs you could possibly eat, but yeah, they're everywhere. Bicycles, hot dogs. Device 60-0ing Astralis, that would have instantly made him the GOAT. That's it. It would have been the GOAT. Just off that, the GOAT. And there is the conversation. Listen, I think Simple is the GOAT. But if Device wins the major, okay? If Device wins the major with a brand new team, I mean, the conversation is right back. The conversation is open, bro, because the amount of accolades that Device has, it's just, I mean, it's literally 4 majors, 2 MVP major MVPs, unlimited top 3 placings over the years. Like, it's, in terms of accolades, like, no one can deny it. I think the one thing is clear. You look at him as a player who understands and respects CS, and you look at Simple, and you just go, okay, Simple is better. It's better, okay? And that's fair. And it's fair, in my opinion, to say you think Device is better, whatever, okay? I felt like that. I felt that way at one point as well, so I can kind of vibe with it. But I think I just go, in my heart of hearts, when I see it plain as day, Simple's doing more. He's better. He's just a little bit better. But it's, even in my mind, it's only by like this. You know what I mean? It's still only like by this. At this level, Simple's Iwu Device, you know what I mean? It's only like this. You know what I'm saying? It's a little percentage separating them. They look quite different when they play. More similarities, in my opinion, between Simple and Zywoo, but it's just small percentages. These guys were all genius level players at Counter-Strike with insane ability to play well under pressure and everything like that. So very small percentages, but yeah, when you got the accolades, plus you get like Device proving he could win a major on a different team. If he could prove that, dude, I mean, now we're talking. I mean, now it just makes everything so confusing. Again, in a good way though. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's what we want to see. Because listen, Simple's the favorite at this major. Simple and Navi are the favorites. Okay? Everyone's like, too much hype, too much hype. It doesn't matter. They're the favorites, okay? Anybody else wins, it's an upset. So, of course, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but yeah, they're the favorites. And maybe we'll get a boost from NIP going into the arena, but we don't know how Plopsky's going to respond. We don't know how LNZ's going to respond. We don't know how these people are going to play in front of a crowd. I know Device is going to be fine. He's already done that. But everyone else, they might get wrecked under the nerves. I'm feeling good about Hampus based on how good he's been recently, but you know what I'm saying? So, this is what it all boils down to here. The round is over. And lucky, you know, he'll get one 1D here. One parting gift for device. As he exits. And that's it. The 16-1. The absolute stomp. I mean, they got destroyed. There was... they were talking in the game, but they were not talking to each other, apparently. There was no banter allowed. You guys want to take a look? Let's just... Maybe we just chill for a second. You just take a look here at the... First of all the garbage souvenir. Don't open those. They actually are so... That's such a waste of money. Take a look at the pick'em predictions, I guess, again. Coming into this stage, just want to go over this again. The Copenhagen Flames, the one I did instantly regret picking Copenhagen Flames to be the 3-0 after I made the video, but I didn't change the picks because I put out the video and everything like that. Just because they would have to win their decider match, and I thought it was very likely that Navi and Gambit would get the 2-0 start. And then, of course, you can't pick Copenhagen Flames to beat Navi or Gambit in a decider match. So just on that alone, it seems weird to have Copenhagen Flames as 3-0. Now, they did beat Gambit 2-0 before, but just because they beat them before. I would never pick the same team again in the rematch, especially not versus a better team. Like, it would give Gambit the edge in that kind of situation. Just on that logic alone, Copenhagen Flames 3-0 probably wasn't a great idea. Not to say they're not playing well, because they are. G2, Liquid, and Copenhagen Flames are three teams that, you know, might not make it and also might play super well. But I think of these three, Liquid and G2 are probably better bets for this 3-0. Of course, Liquid weren't that, and now G2 are the closest with their 2-0. I'm not sure if I ever would have got to the point of putting G2 here. Maybe I could have got to a point of leaving Copenhagen Flames out, putting Liquid here, and then putting G2 here or something like that. But I don't know. This one was very hard. Navi looks good. Navi looks good. NIP looks good. Gambit looks good-ish. 1, 2, 3. EG looks good. And then, I mean, the rest of these are, it's scary. It's scary. I mean, there's Entropic is going crazy. Of course, VP can make playoffs. Heroic as well. They're a threat. It doesn't seem like Mel's are going to be in, which is, you know, good for these picks. And Ents as well, which these picks have nothing to do with, which is good. And the 3-0 pick looks good for now. I mean, they're going to play against Vitality, so that's a bit confusing. But if Vitality win, that's one step closer to getting in, and also EG 0-3, which would make a lot of sense. And they got trounced by Copenhagen Flames 3-0. But I don't know. I would never rely on my 3-0 pick or my 0-3 pick to try to go through. If you don't have 5 teams in here that makes sense, then you're in a pretty bad spot. But didn't expect Vitality to start this slow, as I was not playing well right now. And Gambit to be able to lose to Entropic is something where it's like, whoa, what's going to happen now? And Astralis also, they were progressing like this, and then they go up against NIP, and they're like here. And now I don't know where they're going to be tomorrow. So this is the most, I have no idea what's going to happen with these pick'ems at this point. But I'd say I feel pretty good overall with them. But, you know, it's a lot more worrying than before, where on like day 3 everything was locked up. But the good part is, the upside is that whatever happens, the major playoffs are going to be one of some of the most competitive major playoffs that we've had in the history of the game, with how good the average team is here. Even though there isn't a clear favorite to get into the finals with Navi, like who's the second best team clearly is not clear, especially with Gambit losing to Entropic. The amount of teams that could get there is actually outstanding. Like, there is a chance for NIP to get to the finals, for Vitality to get to the finals, for FaZe to get to the finals. And literally a small chance that Liquid could do it, depending on their seeding, as well as Entropic and Copenhagen Flames, dude. I mean, I don't know. These guys are actually really good, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Anyways, this is kind of a long one. Hope you enjoyed that special moment. Tragic, horrible moment, but also kind of special. That's it. See you another day for another demo. Stay safe.